Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Two and a Half Salesmen. I'm your host Mario, together with my phenomenally looking host Giulio. He chose to wear gold and white with a special badge. I mean, how can you not just suck on him? How phenomenal he is! It's just, for me, it's just unbearable.
Did you say
Giulio, how are you, my friend?
me? Did you just say sack on me? What is that suggestive? Like you picked the one time there's a female here to say sack on him. Jesus Christ, man! Like, oh my God! I'm sorry, Anca. I'm sorry. He just can't keep it in his pants.
It cannot get any better. Okay, all right.
No. Okay, so today's guest is lovely Anca. Please introduce yourself. Where do you come from? Where do you work? And then we will introduce the topic for today's podcast.
Perfect. So I'm Anca. I come from Romania. I work in an English company with an Italian market. So I have a mix of everything. I've been doing sales for 10 years, business to business sales in a recruitment company. And I also manage a sales team.
BDRs or account executives?
It's full cycle. Full cycle.
Yeah.
Full cycle.
Full cycle,
yeah. In recruitment, you don't really do like splits as much of this.
All right. Okay. Well, cool. So today's topic, and if you watched our podcast, you know that we have a plethora. I love that word. A plethora of female guests. This is our 30-something episode, and Anca is our only second guest, apart from Ivana, who was gracious enough to join us. So we will talk, since Anca is over 10 years in B2B sales, we will talk about women's struggles in B2B sales. So yeah, Anca, wanna open it up? How did you end up in sales anyway?
Absolutely. I was thinking this even earlier. I mean, me and Giulio, we used to work together for a couple of years. I don't even know.
I'm so sorry because of that.
Yeah, I know. Lots of people say that. So I've been working with him, like,
Just having the weirdest PTSD on the podcast.
But I don't even know if Giulio knows this, but I started in sales like 10 years and a half ago. I used to do door-to-door sales in Italy. My Italian being B1 at that moment. And when I say door-to-door sales, I used to work for Save the Children. And, used to go like to IKEA, to big markets, door-to-door, before Christmas. And I was not supposed to get like, just some money. It was like subscriptions. So like 6 years, 6 months, 1 year. So that was the first, like, say, contact I had with sales. And I want like full in. I was like, yeah, let's see how it happens. I think the most difficult part of it was like every time you knocked on Italian door, and they invite you in. So we needed to have espresso after espresso. So I think, my success there was based also about all the espresso that I used to have and, speaking really fast and, trying to.
So basically, you're just saying that instead of like the modern version is cocaine, you just had a bunch of like coffee after coffee. So the first one was bad. The second one was a bit better. By the third one, you were like, no. You became from B1 to C2, basically.
They couldn't keep up with me anymore. But as you can see, and you will see on the podcast, I speak pretty fast, And like earlier, like when I was in university, someone told me, you should do sales. And I was like, why is that? Because you speak so fast. And I like back then I didn't understand what he meant, But,
and even that person who said it doesn't know what sales is.
No. Exactly.
God damn it. See, this is where salespeople get a bad rep. Oh, you talk fast. You gotta go into sales. Fuck off.
Because people cannot keep up with you. So that was my first my first contact with sales. And I still remember I made like 300 euros like in my first month or something. And I was like, oh, that is a lot of money. Back then, I just finished uni and I was like so happy about it. I got myself a jack and I was like, okay, so there is money there to be made. But I wanted to do recruitment. So I ended up in Nonstop, where I thought I'm going to do recruitment, but it was a full-on sales job, So imagine like in the first like 6 months or whatever, 1 year, I kind of want to quit every day. Like, because, it was intense. Let me say that, because especially for someone that never has done sales or, never like did like speaking to clients, it was,
Okay, but
let's say,
let's drill down a little bit, because otherwise, these are common issues in sales, right? But
yep.
I wanna drill down a bit on how did you feel it was harder? Because I know it was harder because I was your manager then. So why did you think it was harder being a female compared to the normal situation, compared to a man, simply, right? Yeah.
One thing that I didn't mention, besides working in sales, I sell people. Like, I recruit salespeople for life science companies,
Mhm.
and all the time when you went out there to speak with people, like 80% of them were men, So I've seen the difference in the way that people will like speak to me, or how will they react to what I have to say. And even like even recently I had one thing and I didn't even realize. I was in a meeting with someone and it was me and a guy, and the guy was like more like junior than me, etc. I was doing the pitch, but the guy on the other side was just speaking, making eye contact and speaking with the guy, now with me, so he was not looking at me.
Mhm.
So this, I've seen it even earlier when I started, but I had, like Julia, I had other problems back then, my Italian, etc. So
Mhm.
it was a like I didn't notice it as much, if you want, this like, struggle in terms
Mhm.
of like, if men want to speak to me or not. But that's one thing that I kind of remember back then, because it was like just like a lot of men, and I didn't have a lot of women to relate to back then when it come like even
Okay.
to recruit, for women, etc.
What so Anca, what if you reflect maybe on the last, let's just say, like, let's say 5 years. So let's
Yep.
take some of the pre-COVID years, then a little bit of COVID with everyone being stuck at home, and then like the post. So let's say last 5 years, what have you seen? What do you saw change, especially in terms of, let's say, attitude towards women in sales? But like overall vibe, is it? I mean, I would guess it's still like a boys' club.
Um, Honestly, I like to think that it changed, and I will explain you why. Because before, especially working for Italian companies, when you hire a salesperson, they will be like, "Yeah, we want the men," and back
True.
then,
I
true,
remember this.
and back then, I didn't challenge this at all. I was like, fair enough. But now, like every time someone is asking me for a man, and it doesn't really happen as much because somehow they are embarrassed. They're like, we will prefer men, but a woman is fine. So you can see that there is a bit of a change, in the mentality, because a lot of companies are implementing like
With the owners and hiring managers.
exactly. There is, I can see a bit of a change since like before COVID, or even like from 5 years ago. And there are a lot more women in sales, especially in the industry that I do, which is life science. So, before you didn't be like, even if you wanted a woman, maybe, well, she was not even out there, but now there is a lot more. But mentality is changing. I've seen that a lot, people are trying. In the same time, yeah, you hire women in sales, but after that, you don't have like as much internally to help her progress,
Okay, but
etc.
is this changing because genuinely people want to include and want the diversity, or is this changing because they're terrified that the society is going to fuck them?
Oh, yeah, it's changing because they really don't have a choice anymore. Like especially if they have women already in the company, they also want to work with other women. They have diversity, etc. So I think like most of the company are changing because they don't really have a choice anymore. Which it's sad, but in the same time, it's good because I can see progress, and I like that, especially after recruiting.
I mean,
So
I think it technically it's fine in the sense that if we probably look at when was it, I can't remember, it was Lincoln, the banned slavery in the US, right? It wasn't that the shops were happy to let black people into their shops, but it's because they didn't have a choice. And it's got to start somewhere. We can't expect the people that have been thinking a certain way for their whole life, especially older generations that are not as likely to receive feedback, they are gonna suddenly be like, okay, this is okay, right? We just wanna put them in their spots, basically.
And I would argue the sheer mentality that is being pushed on the salespeople, which is aggressive, be forceful, be consistent, high energy, kind of being associated a little bit more with men. So that kind of ended up being more men in the field. Now, my guess is, and this is just me observing, like I know some of the data, I don't know all of the data, is sales transitioning into process-oriented, detail-oriented, covering all of your bases, like really being
empathy, really high level of empathy.
And really being true to the process, just leveling the playing field. Like if you're a rolling ball of energy, fine, but what can you do with the process, right? So and the women less likely to be like hyper excited, like to lack of a better word, horny in sales. So I would argue that they are much better, especially if it's like a little bit longer sales process. They have a lot more patience in this regard. So better salespeople overall.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Well,
yeah. Go on.
No, I mean, I need to be also honest because it's a podcast about women in sales and the struggles. And like when we used to work together, at some point, it felt that I didn't have a choice. So I kind of joined the boys' club. So I started to sell like a man. I was like assertive, but I would be called aggressive because if you are assertive,
I'm sorry, but you're fucking full of shit. You are always aggressive as fuck.
Right.
I had to constantly be like, calm down, please do not bully clients all the time. So I did not teach you that.
The thing is, like, when you want to join the boys club and you have Giulio as your manager and working company was all about boys, I think he kind of gets like a bit over the a bit more than he should be.
Blame others. You can give me a lot of blame, not for this one, but it's fine.
No, I mean in general.
Well, let's talk about the elephant in the room, right? And that is, I will give you I will give you my experiences, and that is the when we mentioned the boys club, but we have to talk a little bit about sexism in the sales and like bad men behavior. Again, not saying all men behave badly. 95% of them will behave completely okay and completely normal, right? When I began in sales, and this was more than 20 years ago, that all boys club. And if there was a female,
it was either boys club or you're fucked, basically. Like
and fucked mean literally.
Well,
unfortunately,
all that,
right? And that's something that always really pissed me off. Like we are in business. Like, why do we have to introduce this component where we are trying to sell shit? Like selling is hard. Right? And you're part of the boys club. You do have some kind of authority. God forbid you're a manager or shit like that. And then you're doing crazy crap like this. So what I want to ask is how do you see this both with where you currently work and the industry where you're working, but kind of around you? Because before we began, you did say you're a very big advocate for women in sales, which I applaud. So how do you see this specific aspect playing out, let's say now, 2023, 2024?
Look, I need to be honest, I'm also lucky because in the company that I work, it's all based on meritocracy. So it doesn't really matter if you're a woman or a man in general, This later on, when you go into leadership, changes a bit, let's say that. So I don't see that as much at the moment. And I manage a mixed team as well. So I manage both, guys and women. like I had like this problem before with like men that didn't want to be managed by me, you know, but also I was a terrible manager. So that was a different situation. But, you know, there are also the other way around, you know, if you look at like how but now, honestly, at least what I see in the industry, probably because, you know, we also like work in life science, so it's a bit different when it comes to, you know, it's not like tech. I don't see this as much, honestly. So it's like it's getting, you know, it's getting a lot better. At least that's what I see. Even if you speak with line managers, or if I speak with women line managers, with women line manager, I can see change, you know, real change in how they deal with people, or how they change this, or how they are trying to educate and change mentalities as well around this, because it's all about educating and changing, you know, mentalities. So I see that they are doing a lot more effort in this direction, at least especially at our age. I think that's, you know, if you can see it everywhere. But
you
even
mean
if you
Julia being 22 years old, so the early 20s? God,
That's it. That's it. That's it. But actually, and the fact that you're saying this about Italy means that the rest of the world is in an even better place, because Italy is probably like 5 years behind everywhere else, right?
Talk about Serbia, man. Which is, I would guess, the same shit as Romania and Bulgaria and all of the Balkan countries, where it's still very dominant patriarchy.
Absolutely.
All over. However, what I've noticed, and I do a fair amount of talking, consulting, especially with like IT teams across ex-EU, so ex-Yugoslavia, they don't care that much when it comes to, oh, man developer, woman developer, man salesperson, woman salesperson, right? So at least in these industries, like the IT, what I've noticed, again, this is just me observing things. I'm not necessarily correct, but I don't see it. I see more equality, not in numbers by far, which I hate, but just like the relationship.
No, there are companies that make you a lot about the skill these days, which is, you know, really good, especially like the biggest companies out there, or the one that we work with now, it feels a lot more based on the skill. Okay, of course, if you had the interview, you have 2 women and 2 men, you know, the things change, as you can imagine, a bit, because even if you don't
think
want,
that I still think they'll pick the man.
that's the thing, because, you know, the unconscious, you know, like behavior, you know, like it will still go for that. But apparently, you know, you stand more of a chance if you have 2 women and 2 men. If you have just 1 woman and 2 men, then it's definitely, you know, it's going to be by men. So there is 50-50 if you have, you know, 2 women in the process.
I never got that. I'll be honest with you. Like I grew up with a single mom. My mom, she's retired, but she was like both a neurologist and a psychiatrist. So like a neuropsychiatrist, like old school, like with very, very strong female role model. Yep. And I never got that. Like, why would you think someone is inferior, or if a female is performing a little bit better, but then you would hire a man just because he's a man? Fuck that shit. The only thing that matters is, can you sell? Can you hit your quota? And are you an asshole? Because if you're an asshole, you're gonna get fucking fired.
But Mario, I think we're not looking at the elephant in the room, right? Which is the fact that human beings are built on bias.
Yeah,
true. We're simply biased, and if you're all, I mean, even in the example you gave before, Anca, right? I'm thinking, imagine even a female HR. I remember they were the worst. They were the one that didn't want to hire the women the most, right? Because they're the one that dealt with that one girl that was a troubled pregnancy, or the one that dealt with that man that was traveling all around Italy without ever complaining. So obviously they have this availability bias, and when they're gonna see the example, or they're gonna think about what if the worst case scenario happened, or what if the best case scenario happened. Right. So, and that's the crazy situations around it. So I mean, I commend you, Mario, because you're smart enough to work your rationale above your emotions. most people just don't even realize they're being biased.
Yeah.
No,
what
that's
did you?
well, I had a situation. My wife applied. She works in a big corp, so she applied internally for a different department, better position, and she works in Serbia, right? So they have an outsourcing part in Serbia. So she gets the job, so which is a lot better pay, a lot more responsibility in a different sector. Like she's perfect, right? They didn't even consider anyone else. Like she was one-on-one. And then her boss, who lives in Amsterdam and has a budget for her, they with my wife talk with Serbian HR because she's female head of, and this girl just sabotages her constantly. Like, why would we give you this much salary? You don't deserve this. Like it was like, and the this guy's like the third guy in the company. Like you have the CEO, the group CEO, him. And he says, "Why do you care? It's my budget. She deserves it." Oh, well, we benchmarked it on Serbia. So my question now: why is this? Like females, want to stick together, I would say, but now that you mentioned the HR moment, like what the fuck is happening here?
Honestly, I kind of become a bit, let's say, ignorant because I think I choose not to see this stuff anymore, because for me, I'm all about the women club, and when I see stuff like that, sometimes I'm just like, this is not normal, this cannot happen, because I'm just like, I'm so like, no, why are we still doing this in 2023 where we are supposed to be a women club? But it does happen, and sometimes I have this conversation as well, Mario, with people, because I need to advise my client, what you're doing, because this is not the right behavior, especially because this is the skill that you're looking for. But again, it's like it takes so much time to change mentality around this. So even if I was doing it for years, from one of my clients, I never wanted to hire women. After 7 years that I work with them, they finally hired the women. So again, in the same conversation.
For me, that's just idiocy. I don't. Well, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. It like, for me, it's maybe I'm a little bit anal on this part, but for me, it's just performance. Can you sell? And if you're better, I would like, when last person I hired the BDR, and the only reason I hired the guy over, so I had in top three, I had a women, women, and I offered women a job. She refused and took an offer, and then I offered the guy, and he accepted it because she was like a lot better than him. And I said, I don't like it. At least for me, that thought, women, men, never crossed my mind. Like I just didn't. I just don't look at it that way. Like, can we bring this back?
Can we bring this back?
Yeah, bring it back to the struggles, because Anca, Julie and I tend to go off rails.
Yeah, exactly. We do it a little bit, and then we correct each other a little bit.
And then both, either me or Julia corrects the other one.
Exactly. Bring us back by the ears. Like, come on, let's go back to the path. So let's think. You're a young girl. You're getting into sales. What would be, the top 3 tips that you would give? I mean, it doesn't have to be a young girl, to be fair. It can be someone like a woman in sales that may be struggling. What would be the top 3 tips that you would give?
Or you are just getting into sales, right? That age doesn't matter. You just kind of want to go into sales, right?
Look at us,
B2B
correct. Jesus Christ.
I mean, definitely throw yourself straight in. Absolutely go full on, because there is no job out there that will give you more transferable skills. Even if you don't want to do sales long term, doesn't matter, because you will learn so much about communication, dealing with people, negotiation. And now we are all in sales, as Daniel Pink will say. So of course you have nothing to lose, even if you do it for a bit. Okay.
God, I love this book.
In the same time, I think, and one thing that I think for me will have changed my life, it's get a mentor. Look for a woman out there that does sales, no matter what she's, of course, depends what sales you are going to do, but it can be recruitment, it can be, I don't know, whatever, anything out there, because I speak about recruitment a lot because, I'm in recruitment. But whatever you decide to sell, find a woman. Just go on LinkedIn and search for women, in that area, because it does make the difference a lot. And this is one thing that we are probably missing these days, and that's why there are not so many women in sales. And not just because it's hard, because it's hard for all of us, but there are not a lot of women out there to tell you, come into sales, it's great, even if it's difficult. Okay.
Well, no, because it's shit. Because sales is shit. That's why.
Julia and I talked a lot about it in some of the previous episodes, and that it used to. I don't know what it's like today. Like I stopped tracking young people and how they make career choices. But when I was getting in, sales was, I didn't finish university. I don't know how to do economics, banking. I don't know how to code. Guess I'll go into sales because I have nothing left in my life. Like it was the last resort. And this is kind of the beginning of 2000s, right? I don't know what it's like today. I'm older than 30, Anca. I'm not your demographic.
I think it's worse.
I mean, I hire entry.
You think it's worse?
Yeah.
I mean, I hire entry people all the time, so entry-level people all the time. So, nobody comes to, I want to do sales. Nobody comes to stop with this mentality. Just a couple, that have done sales before.
Well, not for the salary you offer.
All right, okay. But for the commission we offer, yes, people, as soon as they start to make money, it changes a lot.
Right, okay.
But women, like, at least let me speak about women, because women come in non-stop because, they want to do recruitment, and they want to, just like get into talent acquisition. And honestly, most of the women I used to work with, now they do talent acquisition. Like, I think maybe 5% of them do sales because, it's of course the easier path after a while. But I repeat, I think if we will, offer women the right training and look where you can do, a lot of things will change, at least at the beginning.
I think it's bullshit. I think most people don't really want to do sales. I think they actually want to just make money. That's why most people do sales, and that's why they suck at sales. It's very difficult to do something you don't like.
That's exactly the reason why they fucking suck at sales.
But the thing is, like,
I don't like sales either. Doesn't mean
I like it. I actually love it. I am really, really into it. Yeah.
We all do it for different reasons.
Exactly.
But the thing is, like, hands on how I will say, like, the financial freedom that you get, it's what other jobs will give you, that. And I've been lucky, I worked hard to get, where I am and made the money that I made. But, I always think, like, especially because women in general, they have a degree, or they do local studies, etc. So not a lot of them probably will go into sales because they want to choose their bachelor or master's degree, whatever they've done.
Because sales is a shit job. One thing that's undeniable is that the men do the shit jobs in the society. But one thing that's undeniable, the men do the shit jobs. Cleaners, all the shittier jobs are done by men. This is undeniable.
What I think, Giulio? I think a career in sales has been hidden from us. From women in general, I mean, because, like, men will not be happy for women to have so much financial freedom. And that's come with sales a lot. So I really think that it has been hidden from us somehow.
You should hang out with me more. I encourage my wife to get a raise, to get a better job, to earn more money. Like, you gotta earn more money. Like, that's my obsession with my wife.
Is that because you have joint bank accounts, Mario?
No, we don't. I keep my shit where I can see my shit.
I mean, that's my feeling. It has been hidden from us for so many years. Yes, of course, it's not easy, but what job out there is that easy if you want to make a lot of money,
It's not. That's the thing. They're not. They're no job.
There's a ton of jobs
if
you can make really good money. That's bullshit.
No.
IT. You go into IT,
well,
you make way more money.
Not sales level money.
Look, not the 1%, but the average IT network engineer, probably like the median makes way better money.
Engineer, man. That's high end.
Okay, the average developer, the median developer will make better money than the median salesperson. I'm not sure 100%, but I'll be willing to bet. A median means excluding the the two hands, right? Because that's the
Yeah,
problem with
well,
sales.
we
that the
all know what
average is-
medium means.
well, maybe not this.
I know
subscribers.
what median is.
So what's your suggestion now? We should all work in IT or what?
But
Well,
look,
here's the thing. This and I've been saying, Julia know that I've been saying this for years. We as a society on this lovely planet that we are trying to destroy very, very with great effort. For the past 25 years, all we've done is produce software developers, front end, back end, full stack, call it whatever you want to fucking call it, right? And now we are at a point where every 2 or 3 friends can make a startup. Well, who's gonna fucking sell that? I've talked with several VCs. There is a prevalent opinion that prices of sales, meaning salaries, will rise in the next 3 to 5 years significantly, simply because there will be no sales, no salespeople.
Look, this is perfect. This is why I always demotivate everyone to get into sales. Because if you're gonna be a shit salesperson, you shouldn't join.
No,
right?
you shouldn't. Well, same goes for every profession, man. I would argue.
How do you know if you're going to be a shit salesperson or not if you don't even try?
Liar.
Well, if you get demotivated by me that easily, well, look, let's be honest. Liar and asshole do not exclude you from making good money in sales. Otherwise,
unfortunately,
it's actually the qualifier in most cases, right?
It's not, Julio.
It is. It is. I remember like literally clients saying, dude, like he's got the killer instinct. I want to hire them because of that. Like, well, he's a dick, really. He's got a massive overinflated ego. And that's why you want to hire them. That's literally what
but that doesn't mean he's a liar and a jerk. Well, maybe a jerk, but not a liar. Liars in sales don't last long. That is too close to scamming. And that
Mario, me and Anca have recruited so many liars into jobs in the years that we know it is. Dude, I'm sorry, but
I've been living under a glass bell, kind of in my own bubble.
Someone's liar is another company's gold.
Fucking shit.
I mean, that's true story, because sometimes, we present the same candidate to 2 different companies, and one, they are like, what is this? And one is like, wow, this is a great profile.
Perfect. You kiss enough frogs, one of them becomes a prince. Anyway, Mario, I think we should wrap up because we're massively
close
over
to time. Yeah. Well, we did touch the struggle of women in sales, obviously within first 2 minutes,
and we also
then
made the
fucked
struggle.
it up.
Now I have even more struggles than before. Thanks, guys.
Exactly. That's how it should be.
You're very welcome. All right. So, want to wrap it up?
Yeah. Can I say one thing? If anyone wants to get into sales, like someone that just like literally finished university, doesn't know what to do or whatever, is really driven, really passionate, wants to do amazing things in life, just write me on LinkedIn, because I will be more than happy to advise you on how to get into sales.
All right.
Just don't go work for her. Yeah.
I wanted to give you like a 30-second promo, which we always do at the end, but you just used it.
You just used it.
Last thoughts. I'll if it's okay, I'll go first, and then Anca will leave you with last. I would say it's getting much better than it was. I think the laws, especially discriminatory laws in on all levels, helped with that. And I still maintain, especially longer cycles where you need patience, women are better, or they're suited to be better salespeople. All things equal, I would always hire women over men when it comes to sales. Maybe not as your role where you need like bam, 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 like you need really to plow through, but like account executives, enterprise sales, and all of those things, I would, all things equal, I would always hire women. That's me.
Okay. It's not something I mentioned so far, but I'm gonna go a lot more brutal. in the sense that I think that generally it's not opinable women have a shitter life than men, right? When it comes to so many different things, since they're born, they are naturally in a worse situation. So whatever advantage you can take, you should be taking. So if right now there's a rise that you can get a job a bit more easily because companies got a hit quota, fuck yeah. If you can negotiate harder because you know you're one of the few women in the process, fuck yeah. If you can use whatever it is that you need in order to succeed in your job, yeah, like a man would have done it. That's how you should think about it. So always be ruthless.
Anca, final thoughts?
Throw yourself straight into sales, because again, I cannot say this more. Transferable skills from a job in sales, even if you do it for 1 year, there are nowhere, honestly. So whatever, even if it's not going to be, you know, as Julia was, the 1% of the sales people, you have so much to learn and it will give you so many opportunities. And that's it. And trust me, yes, it's hard. It is hard, but you get a lot of it, especially financial freedom.
Cool. Thank you, Ron. Please make sure to follow Anca. We will put the link to her LinkedIn in the description of the video. And thank you so much. Until next time.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.